All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at Japan cities and urban land use fact sheet from Unit 5. This one's not too long. It's about 7 questions. First few are pretty simple. They're questions that you've answered over and over again for each individual country we've talked about here. So the first one is, what religions are found in Japan and which one is the most practiced? So all you have to do is come down to the bottom here about halfway through. And there is a section on religions here. You have this part that you can read, and then there is a pie chart that kind of gives you the major religions, and then it also helps you figure out which one is the most practiced. Now, remember that you need to answer both parts of this question. If you just give me the most practiced or you just give me a list of religions, you're only going to get half credit. So make sure you're answering both sides. What makes Japanese culture unique compared to the rest of the world? This one is pretty easy to find. You just come to the culture section, read the culture section, and find something that you feel like is unique to Japan. I've had a lot of people give me, stuff like their food or their clothing. Unless you're giving me specifics, like if you're going to tell me about a specific style of clothing or a specific food, I will accept that. But if you just say food or clothing, like you could throw that in any of the things that we've done, and it would fit. Every culture has their own specific food or specific clothing, generally speaking, most of them do anyway, that would fit. So I don't want a one-size-fit-all answer. We have enough of that in here, just because we do kind of the same stuff over and over again. But give me something specific to Japan, something that is special to their culture. All right, there's a lot of different things you can pick from, so pick something that fits just them. Population pyramid. All right, so you just come down to this section here on the population pyramid. As soon as I find it, there we go. So you can see that the population pyramid for Japan is kind of skewed towards the older crowd. You can see like here at the bottom, it's supposed to be a pyramid. So it's supposed to be big at the top or big at the bottom and small at the top. Japan's does not look like a pyramid. So you definitely want to comment on that. You might want to read this over here as well, because it'll give you information that tells you kind of why this is the way it is. And then, give you a sentence or two explaining what it is you learned from those two things. All right. So 4, 5, and 6 and 7, I guess. They are the kind of new questions for the unit. They deal with urban land use. So in order to answer this, like specifically urban land use in Japan, you're going to have to read the entire read document, because there are some issues and stuff that are discussed kind of all over the place. I would look for, let's see here, economy, and I would look at, well, probably not resources, but I would look in the economy section, and then I would look in the people section, and the settlement patterns may have some information as well. But this one is going to be a little harder to answer because it doesn't really just come out and say like, here is, a challenge of urban land use. Like you have to find this on your own. I've said before that, you definitely want to read the read doc. So like here, it starts talking about urbanization. So this page, we don't have page numbers, but it's just above the population pyramid, where it starts talking about urbanization. So this is probably a good area to kind of start your search, and find some challenges specific to Japan, like some challenges that they had. Who benefits from urban land use? Again, I would probably read this section here, but some of this is common sense. This doesn't ask who benefits specifically in Japan. Who benefits from a city existing, right? Like who, makes money, who is safer, who is able to create a business because cities exist, so those are the people that we're looking at here. Like who benefits from urban land use? And then in what way do they benefit? Like if you can figure out who they are, then you should be able to figure out how they benefit, right? So that one's not super difficult. 3 pros of urban land use. What good comes from cities? So again, like I said, read this section here. That's going to give you information, good and bad about cities. And then, give me 3 pros of urban land use. So a pro is something that is a positive that happens because of something. So one of the examples I give is like, say you decide to start playing a school sport, like, your friends talk you into it, or you decide you want to play it. And you decide that you're going to start playing baseball. And as part of playing baseball, you run a lot, you practice a lot, and you start to get physically fit. So getting physically fit is a pro of baseball, right? It's, your goal was to play baseball. It wasn't necessarily to get physically fit, but a pro of baseball would be to get physically fit. And then here it wants 3 cons. Well, using that same idea that we were just talking about, a con of playing baseball is whenever you're practicing, you can't hang out with your friends. You take up time that you could otherwise use for other activities. So that is a con. So here, they want a con of urban land use. Now, this one's a little easier. The pros are a little harder to find, but the cons are pretty easy. Like, what bad things come from cities existing? Right? Like you can look at ecological issues, you can look at, social issues. Like there's a lot of stuff that fits there that's pretty easy to point out. The pros are a little bit harder. But like I said, there are things that, exist because cities exist. Like, if you're taking this course with me, most likely you live in a city or close to a city. So what are some of the pros of living in or close to that city? What are some of the good things that you get because you live in the city that you otherwise would not be able to if you lived in the middle of nowhere? All right. So as always, guys, this is it. I will be available for email, or if you need to have a Google Meet, or you can come to the Google Meets on Monday and Thursday. See you later.